Throughout his career, Adrien Brody has certainly proven himself to be a versatile actor. You've seen him funny, you've seen him heartbreaking, you've seen him in isolation, and you've seen him vulnerable. But you've never quite seen anything like this.
I lived in silence for more than 2 years. Now even the truth sounds like a lie. I forgive you for killing me.
In today's video, I'll be breaking down everything you need to know about Adrien's career-defining role as Nick Yarris in The Fear of 13. Everything from the true story to seating hacks you need to know before you go. Academy Award winner Adrien Brody makes his triumphant Broadway debut as Nick Yarris, a man who spent 22 years on death row for a crime he didn't commit. Early reviews have called his performance hypnotic and magnetic, and he's even garnered some Tony buzz. To better understand why Adrien Brody was moved to tears reading the script for this play, you need to understand a little bit more about the true story behind it. In 1982, at just 20 years old, Nick Yarris was a petty criminal who got caught up in a very serious nightmare. He was wrongfully convicted of the abduction, rape, and murder of Mae Craig, a 33-year-old mother of 3 from Pennsylvania. Mae Craig was working at a mall in Delaware at a kiosk that sells glass figurines. She was doing so to make some extra Christmas money for her family. She had reported that there was a man around who had been stalking her. One night she left work, and her husband became concerned as her commute only takes about 15 minutes. Mae Craig had been abducted from the parking lot of the mall. In fact, she was pulled right out of her shoes. Her car was discovered abandoned shortly thereafter, and the next day, her body was discovered in a church parking lot by 2 children who initially thought she was a mannequin. Nick Yarris didn't just go to prison for this crime he didn't commit. He went to death row, which involved years of being in solitary confinement. He spent over 2 decades in a tiny cell, watching the years of his youth slip by him, until he did the unthinkable. He took control of his life back and petitioned to be executed.
I ask that one right that I have be recognized, and that is a condemned man's right to be executed.
He was tired of the appeals. He was tired of the waiting. He was tired of all the failures to exonerate him through DNA testing. There was one instance when a package actually burst open en route to be tested, and all the evidence was lost. The judge was so moved by Nick's pleas to set his execution date that he ordered one more round of testing, and that is when Nick Yarris was exonerated in the murder of Mae Craig. The DNA discovered on Mae Craig's clothing and in the gloves found in her car may have exonerated Nick Yarris, but unfortunately, it never led to the finding of her true killer or killers. The play The Fear of 13 is based upon a documentary of the same name that was produced about Nick Yarris in 2015. The title The Fear of 13 actually kind of has a layered meaning. Nick Yarris spent most of his time in prison educating himself and learning new words and practicing them. One of his favorites was triskaidekaphobia, which is the fear of the number 13. And in the end, he became the 13th person in the U.S. to be exonerated through DNA evidence. Unlike the documentary on which this play is based, The Fear of 13 on Broadway is not a one-man show. Joining Adrien and also making her Broadway debut is screen star Tessa Thompson. Thompson portrays Jackie, the woman who became Nick's bridge to the outside world. Adrien's chemistry with Tessa Thompson, who portrays Jackie, is the heartbeat of the show.
I've never been in love before. But I know what this is.
There is also a talented ensemble supporting Brody and Thompson, including Ephraim Sykes, Michael Cavender, Eddie Cooper, Victor Cruz, and Joel Marsh Garland. Throughout the documentary and the play, we learn about Nick Yarris's journey, his learning, his educating himself to become an eloquent speaker. Yarris has published several books since his exoneration, one of which has also been retitled The Fear of 13. So how do you even begin to prepare for a role that carries so much real-world weight? For Adrien, it wasn't just about reading the script. It was about getting into the mind of the man himself.
What was it like meeting Nick for the first time?
I loved spending time with him. You know, he is very welcoming and very supportive, and he's shared with me that I've brought a lot of healing in his life by telling his story, by sharing it.
Adrien got to meet Nick Yarris. He got to know him, got to master his Pennsylvania meets self-educated cadence, absorbing his mannerisms, and really learning about the psychological scars that come from 2 decades in isolation. Playwright Lindsay Ferrantino has adapted the play somewhat for the Broadway audience. In 2024, The Fear of 13 had a run in London's Donmar warehouse. At the Donmar warehouse, Adrien performed on a stage in the round, meaning he was surrounded by the audience on all sides. The critics in London declared Adrien's performance unbearably intimate because of the close proximity to the audience. In such a small venue, Adrien could flex his film muscles, so to speak, with subtle glances, whispers, slight facial movements. But here at the James Earl Jones Theater on Broadway, it's a larger venue with a different layout, so Adrien's performance has had to become a bit bigger. Early critics have called it muscular, because he's had to put more of his body into it and project a little further into the back of the crowd. The play has evolved from its beginnings as a documentary and then its experimental run in London, and is now in its final form. Critics have said that while the London version of Nick was broken, the Broadway version of Nick is defiant. The Fear of 13's official opening night is April 15th. It will continue its run until July 12th. So if you're going to go, do so soon. Something to note before you attend this play is that it's recommended for ages 14 and over due to the adult themes involved, including details of the crime. There are also warnings for flashing lights, loud noises, and stage smoking. The subject matter of The Fear of 13 may be uncomfortable, but I want to make sure your theater-going experience isn't. So the word on the street from the Broadway community is to sit on the right side of the theater, which I guess would be Adrien's left from the stage. Some of the more intense scenes, they say, are performed with him facing the right. So if you're on the far left, you will be looking at his back for most of those scenes and perhaps will miss a bit of dialogue. Now let's talk about the stage door. We all want to meet Adrien, of course, and get a signed playbill. But you should know that crowd control has been a bit of a problem, with people who haven't even attended the play pushing past those who have to gain autographs to sell on eBay.
Go home!
So please be aware of that. They are apparently working on crowd control, but it's still a problem now and then. My advice would be to exit the theater as quickly as you can to get a spot near the barricades. Also be advised that Adrien Brody reportedly does not come out of the stage door every night, especially on days where there is also a matinee performance. If you go to the stage door on a night he doesn't come out, try not to be too disappointed, because sometimes he leaves it all on the stage and has no more to give. This play has been described as an endurance marathon for Adrien. Indeed, it is a 2-hour-long production with no intermission, and he is on stage the entire time. And he has joked about how much easier it is to make a film. It's been reported that when he does appear, he is very interactive with fans and spends more time with them than just signing an autograph and moving on. It's breaking my heart that I can't attend this play, so if you have any details about your experiences you'd like to give me down in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it, so I can live vicariously through you. This production isn't just about entertainment for those involved, it's also kind of a call to action. You will probably leave this play feeling its emotional weight. So I would also recommend visiting the Innocence Project kiosks that are reportedly found in the lobby so that you can channel those emotions into something positive, much like Nick Yarris himself. I hope this helps your experience in attending Adrien's Broadway debut. And as I've said, if you go, please tell me everything down in the comments. So thank you for watching. Have a great time at the play. And to those involved in the production, break a leg.